So what the hell's going on over here? And what on earth is this bloody mess? I don't recognise a thing. When you come back to a big restoration job after the best part of 6 months away, you have great difficulty remembering where you'd got to and where everything is. And in my case, why the hell have I got 2 engines sitting on the floor of the garage over there? And more importantly, which one needs to go back in? I don't know. Maybe I'll go for the one with the smart green job bolted onto the back, whatever that is. At least I've got 50% chance of it being the right one. Now, getting the engine back in is going to be the next major milestone, and this has provoked a flurry of activity getting the engine bay ready to receive it, and it's generated an awful lot of very unwelcome work. The first job in the engine bay, I replaced the Stirling split charge unit, which failed when I was in South Africa. I initially thought it was lack of reliability, but now I'm not so sure. You must have both outputs connected if the engine's running, and I do from time to time disconnect one battery or the other, and it's possible I had the auxiliary battery disconnected and I started the engine, maybe to move the vehicle inside a campsite or something. Anyhow, the way I've wired it now is on the other side of the battery isolator, so it will always be in the circuit. Next job. I noticed that some of the strands on the metal sheath hoses to the engine oil cooler had started to fail, and the ends were absolutely wickedly sharp, so I decided to replace these hoses. However, they were well and truly seized onto the oil cooler, and it's impossible to remove them without damaging the oil cooler. Cut a long story short, I ended up replacing both the engine oil cooler and the gearbox oil cooler, but I'm very pleased with the end result. The next job has been tidying up the bulkhead. Now, this has been a totally inaccessible area, and I've been aware that there's just been a jumble of hoses and cables passing there, not properly supported. But with the engine out, I could get proper access to it. First thing I did was I put in services supports using perforated metal strip, and this means I'm now able to properly support and tie down the various cables and hoses. There's also been far too much heat getting into the cab on the passenger side, so I put insulation on the bulkhead, and I've also protected the individual hoses and so forth using heat sleeving. It's a big improvement on what we had before. Now, there's been numerous other small jobs inside the engine bay, too numerous to mention, but one quite nice improvement I made. The standard Land Rover clutch line consists of a fiddly bit of copper tubing running across the bulkhead, which changes to flexible down by the slave cylinder. And I thought much easier to have a flexible going from start to finish, and I had this made up by HEL Performance. But then I thought another improvement. Bleeding the clutch is a bloody pain. You lie on your back, you've got very inaccessible area hidden by the exhaust pipe, and far better to put in a remote bleed point. And I had another flexible line made up, this time by Pioneer 4x4 with a bleed nipple up on the bulkhead. Much easier, big improvement.